What's up, guys? This is Game 10 Down. Today I'm joined by my good friend DustyGogoat, and today we're going to go over two credible rumors that seem to be floating around Twitter recently. I've been holding this off because I've been wanting to talk about it with somebody. So, again, I'm joined by my good friend DustyGogoat. Dusty, how are you doing today?
Dude, I'm doing really good. I don't even know if you could call it jet lag, but I'm fresh off the plane, just got back from California, and I'm a little bit tired, but I'm ready to review this.
Oh, that's great. I'm really excited to have you here. Again, these leaks are really crazy and wild. There seems to be a lot of good stuff coming from this. Nothing too crazy, but it seems just as credible enough and just as tame enough to where, we can look at it and dissect it and just have a good discussion about it. So without further ado, if you guys want more content like this, again, make sure to like, sub, hit the notification bell, and let's dive into it. Now, it says here, I'm not going to read the edit post because it's them calling out Eclipse. So
Okay,
I'm
sure.
just gonna dive to where it's just the background. It says, the background. There's something afoot in the Asian Pokemon community. A leak has been setting a fire that hasn't yet gotten its foot through the Western fanbase's door until this post. You see, in recent days, Pokemon forums hosted by the Chinese tech conglomerate, I don't know how to pronounce that, I think that's how you say it, conglomerate Baidu, there has been quite the stir over certain users' supposed SV leaks. A user will dub the Uncle. As it turns out, the Uncle was the first one to relay the information about new Kami based on the Genbu, which apparently that is true. This person did leak the Anamorous, I believe. It says as Anamorous, yep. Now they're back with a vengeance with the host that claims that Scarlet and Violet will even dispute common interpretations of Coupe's recent riddle. More about this later in the post. But for now, just check this out. And now we're going to move on to the leak itself. It says, these seem to be divided into two categories: general game design and new regions with new Pokemon and forms. The first bullet point: Scarlet and Violet will be pulling heavily from old and scrapped ideas. This game concept has been gestating for a while in contrast to what 2022
Gestating.
release date would lead you to believe. It's described to be, it says, wait, is that gestating? Gestating? I don't know how to say that word. It says, the new gimmick will be described as similar to job changing from Final Fantasy, but with types. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, what does that mean? I don't think I've. What Final Fantasy game? Is this just a default thing?
I think I know I believe it's like Final Fantasy 4, you can change jobs, and I played Final Fantasy 12 a few months back, and they had like a job changing system, and the way jobs work, it's not really about store things like that. It's more like your like class, like swordsman, mage, like healing mage, black mage, and stuff like that. Like
I like that a lot. So this reminds me a little bit like armor forms. I mean, it's not armor. Instead, it would be this class change. But I see a focus on changing stats. Like when we get like a mega evolution, you get a new stat distribution. I always think of like Mega Beedrill, right, where it like just gets min-maxed. This seems to be like kind of like a thing. Think of it like Yu-Gi-Oh, right? When you put something in defense position, it gets a brand new stat to play off of. That's kind of what I'm thinking with this. So like,
yeah.
Like let's say you put, I don't know, like my Charizard is a blacksmith, let's say, right? Like
Right.
I don't know, like, and then it gets good at, I don't know, special attack or HP or whatever it might be, right? So I think that's kind of that's cool.
But it says it involves types, so would it be more like the type would change? Like,
Maybe, yeah.
Because when I think of Final Fantasy job changes, I think of like a swordsman becoming
Yeah, I see, yeah.
a mage or something like that. Like, that's needed. So I really don't know how they would involve types. I'm pretty sure it's just like how we mentioned like in the last collab we did with like type changing.
Yeah.
Like a type change mechanic.
They're essentially just different types then. Like maybe there's, what are there, like 7? I was gonna say like how many points there are on the star in the Japanese logo. I was gonna say like maybe there's that many types that they can change between, but maybe I don't know. Like is each of the classes gonna be different, or is just the types gonna be the class? They could go different ways.
Yeah, like they don't elaborate it more other than it says similar to type changing from like Final Fantasy. I'm assuming they're doing that because of like they don't want to get caught. But this alone gives us like a lot to speculate about, because I have no idea what that could mean. I don't know if it's like type changing or special types becoming physical or things like that. Like it seems really.
Oh, that's interesting. Well,
yeah,
no,
like,
but yeah.
Hmm?
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, that is interesting. But yeah, let's move on to the next part.
All right, the next part says storyline has vague similarities to that of Black and White. It involves two feuding families who rule over the region, with one of the two this number is conjectured on my part because it was compared to Churn and Bianca, rivals getting the opposite mascot legendary. And we've gone through this recently with like Generation 8 with Hop getting the opposite legendary to you. So it seems like to be a new staple moving forward. Because we also have he got the opposite dragon. So
I do like that. I think it like makes I like the fact that like both of the legendaries are being incorporated into, I guess, the canon story, right? There's all these videos about like, yeah, you know what I'm saying, like, right? Like there's like canon teams for all the different NPCs. I like that.
Yeah, because when you think back to games like Omega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, and like X and Y, like especially in X and Y, like you find out about Yveltal, and like you find out about Yveltal and like X, not X but Y, and then you got to like think to yourself, well, where's Xerneas and all this, because Xerneas is nowhere to be seen in Y, and it's the opposite with X. Like Xerneas shows up, but where's Yveltal? Like it's like the other one doesn't exist at all. And versus like in Generation 5, we knew about both the dragons because they were both part of the main story, and even back in Generation 2, we knew about both Lugia and Ho-Oh, but the story focused more on one over the other. So they're making both the legendaries useful. They even did this in a little bit in Ultra Sun and Moon, I believe, because the Ultra Recon Squad used the opposite legendary when they doing their Ultra Wormhole travel thing. Yeah. So this is all really cool if it's true, and I like the whole feuding families thing because
I do too. Yeah, that reminds me of the Diamond and Pearl clans.
And yeah, it reminds me of since it says feuding families, it reminds me of the two brothers from Black and White that were fighting for truth and ideals. Definitely. Yeah, when they had like the.
They could be like the descendants of that, right?
Two dragon brothers doesn't cure them split, but yeah, that can be really cool. But if it says if they're like our two rivals, does that mean that we're gonna be like thrust between family drama, or are we gonna be like chosen by the other legendary?
Yeah, and again, I always harp back to like whether or not this game's gonna the way I imagine these games, and I don't think this has been confirmed, but I love the idea of past and future and having each version of the game be set in a slightly different time period, whether it could even just be a 10 or 5-year difference, right? It doesn't need to be that drastic. But feuding families, right? I mean, what are they feuding over? Traditions. When I think of family, I think of tradition, right? Right. And there's that whole dichotomy of like, should we conserve the past or should we move forward? So I think that's interesting.
I hope that's true because I really can't think of any other reason other than like fruit, since they're pushing grapes and oranges like heavily in the story.
They are, yeah.
So unless they're arguing over food, I really don't see any other reason.
Yeah, they're arguing over what's going to be at the Thanksgiving
from
dinner
the fight, other than like probably. But it seems to be all they mentioned for the general game design. Next up is the new Pokemon, and it says here, Scarlet and Violet will be one of the largest it'll have one of the largest new Pokemon selections in a super long time, around the ballpark of around Gens 1, 3, and 5. Excellent. So I think they're saying it's because I remember correctly, out of the 3 of these, Gen 3 had the shortest. I think it had around 130.
Yeah. Gen 5 had the most,
or around that. Yeah. So yeah, 5 had 156, I think.
Yeah.
So this is
I would
really
love this.
Yeah, I like, you really wouldn't expect them to do this. You kind of like, I always kind of figured that regional forms were going to take the place of that other half of the Pokédex that's missing. So the fact that they're just throwing that aside and just going back to giving us a huge new like Dex entry seems like really out of left field. I guess that means that the 1,000 Pokemon isn't going to be that big of a deal to them, but they're giving us 100 off the bat.
I don't know how big of a deal that really is to begin with. I'm phased. I'm unfazed. Actually, so this another rumor I was just reading last week also mentioned that there was going to be like, I think it was like 180 new Pokemon, or it was going to be over 100. And I think it was like 110. So it's similar, less than Gen 3. But it was going to be a combination of those regional evolutions and just like another gap. I think it was 80 Pokemon, brand new Pokemon. And then it's probably not going to count mythicals, and then plus 25 regionals. So over 100 would be nice.
I would really I wouldn't be surprised if we got over 100, but actually, I would be pleasantly surprised because we hadn't had over 100 since Generation 5.
It's been a long time. Which, I don't think it's a bad thing. I honestly think I think the designs have been way more consistent since generation. Yeah, since Gen 6. The new batch of Pokemon we get have always been really high tier. Of course, there's going to be a couple in there. We're going to get someone leaving a comment saying that they absolutely hate, I don't know, Salazzle or whatever, right? But like, I think overall the designs have been super inspired and just way more consistent at a high tier. So that's the only thing I really want. I just want if we get over 100 Pokemon, as long as they're good designs, because I love Gen 5. But Gen 5 has a lot of misses.
Yeah, I remember them even saying that there were certain mons in Gen 5 that they added just to be there. Like Basculin was like...
Yes. It was the fish, yeah.
I'm glad we got Basculin. It's really just a line addition that they added just to make the decks even bigger.
Definitely. And it yeah. What regional evolutions do is like they saved Basculin. Like I thought Basculin was like something you could just remove from existence and I would not care, but they've saved the line for me. They've retconned it in a really good way.
Yeah, I'm so glad. Since Basculin isn't Basculin isn't a regional evolution, more or less. Yeah. It's just a third like a third stripe that we hear games. That makes Basculin so much cooler, because that means that in Gen 5 remakes we could get white stripe Basculin as a part of the regional decks, and Basculin can actually show up. So I'm gonna be super excited. Like Basculin is one of my new favorite mons as of Gen 8.
What if Basculin is the new Eevee and we get a new stripe form for every type or whatever?
Oh god, that would be amazing if it was true.
Yeah,
that would be awesome. Now this next one I think you're really gonna like. The mascot legendaries are Dragon Fighting and Dragon Electric type.
Whoa. That's awesome. That is really cool. So it's Dragon Electric. We've seen that with Zekrom. And Dragon Fighting, we have not seen that with a Legendary. I think those are both really cool types. I don't, like, how is that going to... No. I've already figured that out. I was going to say, how does that fit into my headcanon, which is that this is going to be about past and present, or past and future. Fighting type is... Right, like human might,
yeah,
right?
Like fist to fist.
Yeah, and then electric, it's like, you like blood, sweat, and tears, right? Like you're like,
right,
you're like working on the farm, whatever, like, right, like you're like building, you're like on the railroad, and then like electric is like machinery, and it's like the Industrial Revolution. They could have made that poison type for Smog, but if that is real, that's really cool. And I'm a sucker for a powerful dragon too. So
yeah, like I'm so glad if this is true. I'm so happy that they're going back to like dual dragons, because I know that we had like both Gen 4 and 5 we had dragons as the mascots, but I kind of miss having dragons as the mascot.
I do too.
Like Zekrom and Restaurant were like peaks. Like every generation we had like different animals, which I don't mind. I feel like since they were kind of going back in that direction with Gen 8, because instead of us getting like two different animals, we got twin dogs. So us getting two dragons.
That might actually. I think the two dogs might be the worst set of legendaries, and I might only be saying that because it's like the newest version, and I'll get nostalgic. But I just feel like it's. I don't know. It just feels really uninspired.
I think the reason to a lot of people is that they look kind of signed. Like they both have the same color scheme. It's just that Zamazenta's just more darker, while Zacian is lighter.
Yeah.
Like if you put them next to each other, they're both like really similar.
Yeah.
But the fact that they are dogs, so we just entered from a region from Gen 7, where we had like these cool Galaxy, Bat, and Lion, and then before that we had the mons of literal life and death, and then we go to Gen 8 and we got like two wolves with like a sword and a shield that really, to be honest, honestly, like towards the very end. And I mean, most of the legendaries do that, but like these two, they literally like came out of, like, we saw them at the very beginning of the game, and then they just came like left field at the very end, where we were like, oh, we need their help, and it kind of felt forced.
I think having a pair of dragons is gonna be great. I think that's got me really nostalgic, and I don't know, it's like so powerful. I want to see this. Maybe this is even related to the Generation 5 dragons, or maybe we just had a whole arc of Sinnoh. Maybe it's in real. I don't know. I mean, it could. I don't know, because I don't think we're going to be getting Gen 5 remakes soon. I think that's going to be a Gen 10 thing.
Yeah, definitely Gen 10.
But, who knows? Like, a pair of dragons is going to be very welcome. I'm excited. Did we miss what the final starter, the bullet before this, what the starters are going to be?
We completely skipped that bullet point. I'm sorry, that was my fault. But before we move on to that, do you think that the electric type could outshine Zekrom?
I mean, I had to see what the design is going to be. I've been at a competitive for maybe 6 years, so I can't really speak on that either. I don't really think. I mean, Zekrom is Ubers, but yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about like competitive. I just meant like design wise, because Zekrom is like peak to me personally. Yeah, he's like peak dragon with like the pure black aesthetic, and then his tail lighting up blue, like whenever the electric surges like go through. Like that's really cool. Same with Reshiram with the fire surging through its furry tail.
Yeah, but I thought those designs were kind of like trash when they came out. But it took me a couple of years to realize like they really were like peak design. Like they're like pure. They're just like purity dragons. It's like about truth and ideals, right? So you have one thing that looks super feminine and natural and like I don't know, just like pure. It looks like angelic, right? And then you have this. And then you have this like machine-looking thing. Like it doesn't look natural because like in nature, like it's something like if it has wings, those take place of its arms, and this thing is like an abomination where it has arms, legs, and then wings on the back, which is like I feel like it's you know what I'm saying, like I feel like that's just not how it happens in like nature. But dude, they're both absolutely beautiful creatures. I love them.
I think that even those two back then were more of a representation of innovation versus tradition, because Reshiram looks like a traditional dragon while Zekrom looks like some.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I saw,
or something.
Yeah, I think you're right. That's my main interpretation is like I think they can both be interpreted as one or the other. Like one can actually be truth or it can be ideal. I think it can be switched, right?
Right.
Even though that's not like technical, but I think like in reality, right? Like I don't know, like it can be applied. That dichotomy can be applied to anything.
Right.
But anyways, yeah, let's maybe get back to the rumor. I think that gets me excited to see that kind of to see a dragon fight a dragon electric. That's getting me excited.
The next, the one I passed up, it says that the starter final types are grass dark, fire ghost, and water fighting. Essentially, the PLA types, but grass and water are switched. What are your thoughts on that?
Let me think. So we got they're right on screen. We've got Sprigatito being grass and dark type. Like I said, I think fairy would be really cool. There's a lot of really great theories out there about this thing being some sort of like based on some sort of flower. I like the idea of a fairy, so it being dark type. I mean, that almost sounds like a troll, right? Well, the last cat Pokemon we had was Incineroar.
Yeah.
But fire ghost, that's in line with the ghost pepper theory, and water fighting is also something that I would want to see. Is that what the main theory is right now about Quaxley, it being water fighting, or is it water steel?
I've seen people go either water fighting or water dark for like a pirate. Okay. Or water fighting for like a sailor, and water.
Yeah. I would love.
Pirate, or it could be in water dark.
I would love to see. I mean, we talk about this every single new game that comes out. I always think of like, what if the starters have a branched evolution?
I've seen people actually make theories like that, and that would be really cool because it would make these starters like way different amongst the rest.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna do it. I think it's like there's certain things that need to be consistent, or not consistent from generation to generation, but like just like you need some constant in your playthrough, and your starter is one of them. You make the choice in the beginning, and it eventually evolves into one thing at the end. But I think those types are fine. None of them are really that offensive. I want to see. I think it still feels like we're too early in the release cycle, right? Like all we have is that one trailer. So as far as I don't know, I think those are nice. I like those.
I mean, you can never forget the Gen 7 release cycle when we got the starter evolutions leaked like months before the game came out, and we all dismissed it as fake until we realized when the anime trailer got revealed that.
Yeah, that was incredible. It really was.
We saw Mallow. Not even the anime trailer, the Trop Captain Real trailer. Yeah, that was absolutely wild because we all dismissed that as fake at first, and then like when we saw Mallow and Ash in the concept art, and Ash was wearing the exact same clothes he wears in the anime, and Mallow of course, was revealed like a few months later as a trial captain.
Dude, I love it so much.
Like, if something like that, did you know the reason why that happened? Because I found that out recently, like why they got the entire evolution
mean, like,
thing got.
We know what like behind the scenes. Like, we know who leaked it.
Like, we know apparently it was no, we don't know who leaked it, but we know the reason why it got leaked. Apparently, it got leaked during they were sending Sakurai for Smash Brothers. They were sending him the 3 starters.
Oh.
Yeah, they said
make a decision.
To make a decision between the 3.
Whoa.
And during that transfer process, apparently somebody saw the designs and took a picture of it and leaked it, but nobody believed it at first.
Damn, that's
apparently
crazy.
Yeah, that means that Ultimate has been in development since
That's crazy,
2016, dude. Around that time. That absolutely. Yeah, I found that out. Apparently, that was like, I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently it was like a big like thing floating around that the reason why it got leaked is because they sent it to Sakurai so he can make a decision between the 3. Because he was originally going to choose the Decidueye.
I didn't know that either. Well, so I mean, this is really cool in general because like when we think about these rumors and these leaks, I mean, like I never think why do they get leaked, right? And sometimes people put that in their descriptions. They're like, I'm on the marketing team, right? But yeah, that's interesting. That's really cool. That's cool. Remember when Masuda was like, when someone had the picture of the starters and showed it to Masuda for him to sign, and he goes, I didn't know these were out yet.
Yeah, I think it was Prime Arena, I believe. When he signed a fan art, and everybody was like, oh, well, yeah, Masuda kind of did it to himself at that point. Yeah.
That's funny. All right, dude, yeah, that's so funny. What's the next bullet?
The next bullet says, in addition to the brand new Pokemon Surge, regional forms will also still be around. One of them is supposed to be based on I don't want to like mispronounce this. I'm gonna try my best to say it, but the Ratoncito Perez, which is the Spanish mouse version of the Tooth Fairy. While no indication as to what Pokemon it was given to be based off, I'm assuming that it's going to be like the Dene, which is essentially going to be essentially a rodent. The regional rodent is going to be, or the Pika clone is going to be the Spanish version of the Tooth Fairy, which apparently the Dene is based off of the French equivalent to that. So I think they're going to be counterparts essentially.
I like that a lot. That's cool. And the fact that they just, they weave in a Kalos Pokemon, that makes, you say that, I'm gonna be on board. I'm like riding with the Southern Kalos post game. I'm riding with that until we get denied. This is like too good of an opportunity.
I really hope they do that. I really hope they do. That would be amazing. Perfect
DLC content.
Then all right, the next bullet point, they tie into each other, but the next bullet point says the other claimed form is surprise surprise Toros type, fighting a Minotaur type thing. It's unclear if it's a regional form or a straight up cross Evo, but it's worthwhile consideration since we live in a post Ursaluna world, which they do have a point.
Yeah.
After Ursaluna, anything is possible.
That's totally true. Yeah, I would love this. I think Toros is really. I mean, reading these things, like I always got to reconsider. I always got to be like, all right, what are the odds that this is just a really good guess, right? It's a Gen 1 Pokemon. It's a Spanish region. Of course, Toros is going to get something, right? And I've seen a lot of really cool concepts where Toros evolves to be like a fire type. Yeah, I would love to see this, but it's going to be fighting type and Minotaur based. I was just reading a rumor. It was actually the legendary that was going to be a Minotaur, but I think, man, I actually don't like that at all. Now that I'm thinking about it, where it's like a Minotaur, like that means you would have to change the body.
Like you don't like legendary or the Minotaur.
No, now I don't like Toros being a Minotaur.
It might be I think it might be a cross-gen evolution rather than a regional form.
Or yeah. But like I just mean I don't think I like the idea of, because you'd have to take Toros's head and make it look humanoid all of a sudden.
He might look like a Lionel. Yeah.
That's weird, isn't it?
That'll be super jarring. I don't think I'll like that at all if it's true.
That's weird. And then like it's not gonna be a counterpart to Miltank. I mean, I don't mind it getting an evolution, but a Minotaur is supposed to be human based, right? Like have the body of a horse, but
I'd much rather if they give Toro something. I feel like Miltank has to get something as well.
Yeah, I mean, we say this about everything that doesn't. Like Slow King didn't have a mega, right? Like there's tons of examples. Butterfree never got a mega, but I'm with you. I think they both should get some love.
They kind of did them dirty.
I think for sure, like Toros will get an evolution or a regional form or something. I think without a doubt, Toros in this new game will get some sort of regional form, Preevo, Evo, Mega, whatever it's gonna be. I think it will get some sort of attention. Toros, 100%.
I don't like. I really don't see them doing pre-evos anymore. I mean, we prayed for Kangaskhan to finally get a pre-evo, but that's definitely not happening. So I really don't think they're gonna. I feel like they're gonna stick to evolutions rather than pre-evos. But I could be wrong. Since we could get a Let's Go Johto this year, we could get pre-evos to kind of like reference that, but I highly doubt that.
The only reason why I actually said Preevo was because I keep this in mind. Toxel, the baby, it's literally classified as a baby Pokemon. Like it's a baby Pokemon, not a pre-evolution to Toxtricity. It's a baby Pokemon.
Toxel.
Yeah, which means like the last baby Pokemon wasn't in Gen 4.
It was in Gen 8.
It was, like a couple years ago. So I think, who knows? Maybe they bring it back. I think it's fine. Not everything needs to be competitive.
I know.
They should reintroduce baby Pokemon. Give us, like, they're fun. I think they're great for world building. But then after you give them to us, change the breeding mechanic where like it's not so difficult to like breed with them, right? The hardest part is like
the
giving
incense.
them exactly. Like that's the hardest part.
Those are so annoying. Like whenever I'm trying to complete when I tried to complete the Pokedex back in Gen 8, all the incenses for like Jinx and Snorlax and stuff, those are, and like Mr. Mime to get Mime Jr., those are really annoying.
It really is. And even like or like having to max friendship them to evolve them so you can then stick them back in the daycare center with the Ditto. Like, I don't know. Just make them easier to like make the mechanics around them a little bit easier to manage. But like, I think bring them back. Like, I think baby Pokemon add a lot to the lore,
Yeah. I personally, like I said, I don't expect them to add new baby mons to older Pokemon, but I do expect them to make new mons for new babies for new mons like Toxtricity. Sure.
Yeah.
But the final bullet point harkens back to Riddler Coupe himself. That thing's off. We could look at last Coupe's recent riddle. I am stuttering a lot. It says, Coupe's recent tweet says, in order to decipher it, you need to learn how many edible terms there exist. First, with that material in hand. Caution, I won't be this kind next time. And I remember when he originally tweeted this out, nobody understood it. And I think SoulSilver was the one that made all of these hints and things.
Yeah, God bless that person.
Yeah, bless SoulSilver. I remember Coupe said that they're like 10 to be taken. They like when I went through and counted the hints that SoulSilver believed, it was like 14.
Yeah. So SoulSilver art is insane. I gotta say, when this first came out, I was tweeting that it was fake because it was April Fool's. It was on April Fool's Day, or it was like moments or hours before. I'm not really sure. I was telling you about this. I told you. You're like, oh, did you see it? And I said, I don't believe it. And then like 2 weeks went by, and everyone has been analyzing this and taking it for fact, and it very might. I don't mind being wrong. If we have new information, I don't mind being wrong. This is very cool.
Yeah, the reason I private messaged SoulSilver and I was like, do you think this is like fake? And he was like, I don't think so. And I was like, what makes you think that? And he was like, to be honest, he's like, who isn't the type of person to really joke about this type of stuff? Like, he may be a bit of a troll when he's like bullying Centro, but he said he wouldn't risk his credibility.
That's fair. Yeah. No, I think that's fair. There were some other things that he had said. Excuse me. There was some other things that Riddler Coupe had said. I think in reference to Centro. When this came out, they were like, "All right, here you go. Are you gonna take it?" I don't know what it was, but whatever. Anyways, if we're taking this for fact, let's get into it. I'm assuming actually a lot of the stuff we just read is the result of what this is. If I'm being honest with you, I kind of checked out. I've been, I haven't paid attention to this rumor specifically. So if you want to explain it to me, I have I've just not been paying attention to this.
Okay, from what I understood from the picture, SoulSilver tried to explain some things. The Zekrom is a reference to the other new legendary mon that we're supposedly getting, like the Electric Dragon legendary.
Yeah.
Apparently the Regirock there is supposed to be a reference to the game's code name, which is codename Titan. The items here, because if you ever play Pokemon Masters, you can equip lots of the Pokemon, and apparently at the very top you see a dragon and dark type. That's apparently the typing of the third dragon, which will be the, you know how every title legendary has to have the third dragon. Apparently the third dragon is going to be Darkin Dragon.
That's cool.
And the Cynthia one I can't really explain, because later on I think he tweets out a picture with Komo-O, but I do know that Cynthia gets a alternate skin in the game where her partner is Komo-O instead of Garchomp.
Okay. So people are saying it's not going to be.
But other than that, I see
Dragon ground. If they're saying it's going to be dragon fighting, is that the reference?
Yeah, dragon. Yeah, but apparently Cynthia herself is the reference. I don't know if it's like actually that far deep, because he, like I said, he does tweet out another picture earlier or before or after where it shows Komo-O with Zekrom. So
okay.
And I know the Titan thing, and then something about the Gen 9, of course, the number 9. I don't really know the interference term. I do know that the 151 is apparently a reference to the fact that this will have around that many mons in game. So I don't, like, in terms of new mons, I mean, like 151, like it's gonna have like a dex almost as big as that. But other than that, I don't really know like what else to take from this, because like I said, there's like so many things happening in this image. So I can't really like take, pick and choose like what exactly. I can only pick out the things that I know for certain that the rumor addresses. And I'm like, okay, I can make this connection and that connection. Even in the paragraph here, it says that the Chinese forum, he even speaks out and says that the uncle disrupting this interpretation and providing an aforementioned info on a new one that can be crafted. It says the fighting dragon electric items are in fact indications of the starter secondary types. It says that they were not indications, but they are instead the mascot legendary types.
Oh.
Like looking at
and with Zekrom is self-explanatory.
this image, there's like so much to take.
Yeah, it really is. I would love to hear in the comments what everyone thinks about this, because this has been out for a long enough period of time. I'm sure people have been thinking about this, watching other videos, analyzing this. I would love to hear what other people have to say about this specifically.
Right. It says that this follows with the Pokemon selection with Zekrom is self-explanatory, while Cynthia isn't as obvious. This apparently fits into place when she realized that she has all costumes that give her the dragon fighting Pokemon Komo-O. Now, of course, this lets the Masters Pack have a Regirock. It says the answer lies in its label of the legendary Titans. Only one in this game. A Titan is between two representatives in the Scarlet and Violet's mascots. And what's the code name for this game? It's Titan.
Okay, yeah, this is all adding up. Again, though, I'm still like wondering myself, like how much of these like circles and the little lines is like making connections where maybe they don't belong. I guess that's what we're trying to do, right? Like we're trying to figure out what the hint is specifically. I guess a lot of this does make sense. You see Centro.
Like I said, Coupe
says number 9.
Yeah.
Who
said that there are 10 hints to be here, but SoulSilver he had 10 different, like not 10 over like 14 hints, because I went through and counted. But Coupe said only 10 of these are actual hints. Okay. So not really sure. I know the Zekrom one is completely obvious. I don't know about the Cynthia one, and like the only ones I can take are like the Zekrom and the Regirock thing.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think there's some things that are definitely symbolic and obvious, like 151. That has always been the first 151 Pokemon, right?
Right.
I don't know what like 26 could be, but like number 9, that's okay. All right, this is cool. I'm gonna have to maybe I'll get on a voice call with someone else. We'll continue talking about this image, because this image has been everywhere, man.
I know the two people that's been dissecting this with like every like passing second is like SoulSilver and Blazing Incineroar. Okay. So I feel like those two people are like the best two to hit up about this, because they know like the most. Even I don't know. The more I look at it, the more confused I get. Is like looking at hieroglyphics.
Yeah. Hieroglyphics.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for this. Those are all the things mentioned here.
I think there's a ton of cool a ton of cool stuff here. A lot of great ideas. When do you think the next trailer is going to come out for Sword and Shield? I'm sorry, Scarlet and Violet.
Personally, I think it's going to be in early June.
Okay.
Right. Since we don't have an E3 this year, they might give us like a Pokemon Presents or a Pokemon Direct in early June, and we might get the actual first gameplay.
Yeah. I would think it comes a little bit sooner than that.
But I hope it comes sooner than that. I can't wait till June.
May would be nice.
May would be ideal.
But honestly, June's not even that far away. That's that's in 2 months.
Yeah, but as a Pokemon fan, we get pretty impatient, especially like they don't really have a reason to keep us waiting this long, but they choose to anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we know I'm gonna buy it. The game, I'm gonna buy it. Like literally, there's been a lot of weird things in Pokemon games in the last 10 years, but look at me. All I do is talk about it online.
Like they don't have to. Yeah, they don't have to keep it a secret from us. We're all gonna buy it anyway, but they choose to. Like they choose to be. I don't like the new. Like personally, I really hate this new. What's the term? Promotional cycle, because they like hold off for so long, and then they wait till like the hype is at its lowest, and then they drop a trailer.
Yeah, my favorite was Gen 7, where it seemed like every other week there was a new
trailer
of only one
awesome.
Pokemon though. Like they would do I specifically remember they did like a children's Japanese game show where they had, and at the very end of it, like I remember watching it outside in the summertime, and at the end of it they said, and here's it wasn't even the first reveal of it, but it was like what was it? Turtonator. That's the Pokemon. I don't know if that was the first reveal of it, but it's like they were like always just promoting like one thing every week, or they would just be like, here's Mimikyu, or they'd be like, I remember Sandy Gas came out every week. Yeah. Every other week. It was so cool.
I think are you talking about that Japanese variety show? I think it was like Pokenchi at the time.
Maybe, yeah.
They the Pokemon that they hyped up, I remember that because they said they were gonna reveal a new Pokemon on their show, and it was Rockruff.
Maybe that's what it was, yeah.
But yeah. I was gonna say, but that's pretty much gonna be it for this video. If you guys want to see more content like this, again, make sure to like, sub, hit the notification bell, and of course, DustyGogoat is linked down below, so if you guys can check out his channel, I would really appreciate that.
Come hang out. We got another video on the channel from last month. Camtendo is, it's another 40-minute video over on my channel if you haven't seen it yet.
Right, and you guys can also check out the part 2 of this, which will be over on Dusty's channel too.
Yeah. I'm
Camtendo, and I'll see you guys when I see you.
See you guys. Thanks for watching.